Aloha. Thanks for joining me. What if I told you that the most powerful thing in every room that you enter is not your resume? It's the energy. It's your energy because it shows up before you even speak and it lingers long after you've left the room. And it either lifts people up or it wears them down. Which one are you? So let's talk about energy today. It's a very special subject that continues to grow in my life. And in all my years of leadership and stress management and building those teams, those high performing ones in really tough situations, there's one thing that's always true. Your energy is contagious. Should I say that again? Your energy is contagious. There's a whole lot of reasons for that. Whether you're facing a group of teenagers, battle hardened soldiers, a crisis team, it matters, or even your own family. How you show up matters a lot. Today, we're going to dive into some tools and strategies to help shift you from being draining to other people and reactive to calm, powerful, in control, uplifting. But the real test isn't when the things are easy and going smoothly. The real test is when chaos hits, the unexpected. Your energy in those moments sets the tone for everyone else. Now, I have a number of stories, and the one that I just did, I had a picture of the UH women's soccer team that I had a great honor to be able to speak to recently before they were beginning their season. In their team, they were transitioning 50% of their team in this season. In combat, I had 15-20% of my team rotate every month. It makes a real difference in how you show up. One of the things that I do, I mentioned it earlier for those who've been following, it's how not to start a war with your face. It's a wonderful exercise. Basically, it's really helpful to know that your face sets the tone for a lot of the energy that you have. If someone sees your resting face, what are they going to conclude? If you're not thinking about what your facial expression is, you're missing a huge amount. Some of you may have even been told you should smile more. Why? Because when you're serious, people read you to be something that maybe you don't want to be read as. Serious, toxic, something like that. When you're looking at your face in the mirror, you can do this by yourself. It's even better when you do it with a partner. That's what I had the girls do. You take a look and you show each other your resting face. One goes first. You can go first in the mirror. You go in your resting face. That's really hard to get because maybe you want to smile because this seems so silly, right? But it's not. It's really powerful. And just like exercise, how are you going to get stronger except by doing? When you look in the mirror, you can take a look and see, what would you say? What would you say the unspoken language is? Then go with your resting face first. My face, so funny, my lips used to curl up. In fact, I had a little advantage because the corners would curl up. As I've gotten older, guess what? You may have to work it harder, girls and men. They are starting to turn downward. My resting face might look like I'm really serious and I'm not in a good mood, when in fact that may not be true. I may just be thinking. Look at your resting face, and then you let the other person tell you when you're welcoming. Because isn't that important? That's the first impression. You're seeing people, and if you're always serious and not welcoming, I love to see people that I haven't seen in a while because that is such a delight. Very natural for me to smile and be happy that I'm in their presence. It's not just your mouth, it's your eyes. In fact, the eyes are really the window for being able to exude an energy where it looks positive, it helps other people relax and be comfortable in your presence because they don't think that they're being judged. A resting face can look very judgy, can't it? Then they tell you yes or no, 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 yes. How you come across to people in those first moments can make all the difference. Think about exercising your face in a way that your eyes and your mouth and your whole facial expression exudes something. Chances are, if it's somebody new that you're meeting, they're nervous. They're not quite sure how to think about you. Practicing smiling. It's a real great exercise. I'll give you another one. In the morning when you wake up, telling your body that you're actually going to have a great day instead of laying there going, oh my gosh, what do I have to get done today? Instead of doing that, you can just smile. Your body doesn't know the difference if you fake it or make it. It doesn't. At night, when you're going to bed, is to make sure that you're smiling and be grateful that you had another day. I mean, it is a miracle. I love to watch the little movie clip when you start learning about leadership. It's kind of a silly little movie. It's about a guy who's doing this crazy kind of dancing, and he's on a hill, so it's not that easy, but he's doing a wild dance. Gail's saying before you do, your body believes every word you tell it. That is absolutely true. Well, this gentleman, as he's on the hill, he's doing these flailing kind of dance moves, and people are watching him. When you're by yourself, that's when you get really judged. And one person goes up and joins him, and he starts doing kind of the silly dance too. It's just a release valve. To be silly sometimes can help us do that. And that's our energy. But fun energy, silly energy, people love to be around that. And then a third person shows up. So in the middle of the second and third person, it not just becomes one individual doing it, it becomes a movement. And then in your video, you see all these hundreds of people start joining them in this crazy dance, all started by one person. Think of that as the energy that you bring to any situation, any interaction with other people. And a lot of that has to do with our energy. It has to do with our energy and how we bring it. Other ways that we handle it, when you give people feedback, how do they take that? There's a real difference between being critical. I've had so many people tell me, yeah, I've got to do that. But what kind of energy comes across in that moment? It's like, I'm better than you. I'm going to tell you how to do it. No, that doesn't work. It really doesn't work. And it's really, I'll use the word, it's a negative word, lazy. I remember doing an exercise where it made so much difference. Maybe they said, you were having such a good time in telling people what you wanted to tell them that I bet you didn't notice someone had their hand raised. As opposed to saying, you missed out because someone was raising their hand. You just completely ignored them. You see the difference? Big difference. There is no shortcuts to high energy. There are tools to build it. That's what I want to provide to you today. I will talk a little bit more about a few more things that I've mentioned in previous ones, like about our vibration. But there are tools that talk a lot about mental toughness. Clarity, creating a supportive environment. All of these things lead into that. Vibrations. Let's talk about vibrations just for a little bit before I go into my V.I.B.E tool. Vibrations is a primary law. Mary Morrissey taught me this. Realize there's a huge difference between what we're doing right now, which is enlightenment. I'm sharing content that might be able to help you in what you're doing and lift you up in times when you're not thinking about it. What is your energy? Women often go to shame when things aren't going well. A real shame. Because shame on the ladder of energy is the lowest that they registered. It's a 20 on this scale. Contrast that with love. Love is at a 500. Enlightenment, what we're doing right now, talking about things, is at a 700. If you really want to change the world and influence people in a very positive, productive way, you really want to be at that love level or much higher in the enlightenment level. That's where you're helping other people. Now, there are other ones. Grief is 75, very sad and understandable when things have happened. How are you going to show up for the other people in your life? We all are going to face hardship. Apathy. Some people think apathy, oh, that's not going to harm anybody, but actually, apathy sits about 50, very, very low. Courage. I would have thought it would have been a little higher, but it's a 200. Pride is less than that, 175. Anger, 150. You want to be at 500. Joy is at 540. Wouldn't it be nice that everything we did, we lived with joy as we were having that experience? That's one way. I'd like to share a quote that I think really puts it in perspective. Do you want to be right or make things better? Do you want to be right or make things better? Because if you want to make things better, like me, you will be exploring all these different ways to achieve what it is you want instead of bringing people down. Even the most serious subject, if you can infuse joy into the activity of addressing the serious subject, you will be able to achieve far more than you might otherwise. I talked about smiling in the morning. That's just a really, really, really good exercise. I can tell the difference in my body. As Gail said, your body believes every word you tell it. It also believes every smile that you give it. If you smile, it's going to do it. The same with reaction with other people. If toxic energy's out there, that's a whole nother story. I'm going to save that for after I give you my V.I.B.E tool. Would you like that now? You can use this tool, and I think it will help give you that perspective. That'll give you that perspective so that you can lead the way. What's the V? The V is vibrations lead the way. That's what comes into the room before you say a single word. Energy is that primary law that affects everything. Law of attraction is a secondary law, for example. What you give off is what people respond to, and people can be far more creative when you reach those higher levels of vibration that I mentioned than if you're scowling. You want to be smiling if you can. Not silly smiling, but at least a welcoming expression. And your vibe sets that emotional climate for others and can make it feel more safe and creative. I, the I is internal reset is the key. Internal reset is the key. If you don't reset your energy internally, figure out a tool that works for you and do it, then you will be projecting fear, stress, anxiety, tension, not just for you, which is toxic as we know health-wise, but to everybody else who interacts with you. It doesn't matter if you say the right words. That's not the same as smiling. You could say the right words, but if every part of your body language and energy is negative, they see the mixed message and will pick up the negative first. Use tools like we've done before. Waterfall breathing. That's a 10-second reset for when you are losing it. When you realize that you're not thinking clearly, you're going into stress mode, and it's unhealthy stress. And what else? I've just started tapping. Tapping can be its own section. Tapping is something that can help calm your amygdala. There are 9 places that you tap. And you combine that with affirmations or reality checks of what's happening. Visualization, that's another way. Whatever works for you to set inside of you so that when you go out with other people, you are projecting the energy that you want. What is the B? The B is be the mirror you want to see. I didn't talk about mirror neurons, but that's a huge piece. The research is very clear. What we project, that's a big reason why. You don't have to be doing the activity. I love this example. The controller was licking the ice cream cone, and the monkey's brains were firing up as they were watching him lick the ice cream cone. I would have been that way too. I love ice cream. But it influences those mirror neurons. Your brain fires up in a particular way as you see that energy around you, and it influences the other people around you. So smile, stand tall, be confident. Your nervous system talks to other people. What is the E? This is a long term one. Embrace daily practices. Embrace daily practices. These daily practices are things that eating well. If you're eating garbage, it's really hard to be at peak performance, isn't it? If you're not sleeping, now I do have some tricks and hacks. I try to get 7 hours, but it doesn't always happen. My brain will start firing up about 6 hours and I'll wake up, but I can nap. Not everybody can, but I can nap. And practice daily practices. Energy isn't one decision, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle of how you want to move about in the world. Because if you don't figure it out, you're going to do it. You're going to move around in the world. But instead of making it up that way, create what you want to be in that daily practice. I wanted to say thank you. I'm going to put live broadcasts up on my Stress Intelligence channel at Stress Intelligence, youtube.com/ at Stress Intelligence. I'm going to also populate the podcast Stress Smarts that I have created for those of you who are audio. Some of us are audio, some are visual, and I thought you would enjoy having an audio. Remember that every day you have a choice how you show up in the world. You can let the world shape your energy, which is pretty toxic right now, wouldn't you say? Or you can choose to lead with intention. You can put yourself out there and be like Gail is. She's heart centered. When you come from the heart in a place of love, then doesn't everything just kind of fit into place? No matter how tough. I love to support like hearted people who are trying to navigate this challenging world that we have from a place of love and support and incredible talent. Be the one that brings the vibe today and every day. Thank you for joining me. See you next time. Aloha.